welcome. We have tonight our July monthly meeting. My name is Alexa, office manager here at the BPM RIA office, and I welcome everybody. If there's anyone new in the group here today, very, very special welcome. Everybody who keeps coming back, thank you so much for coming back and supporting us and just participating in these amazing online events that we have. I'm going to give you guys a couple quick announcements because we do have a ton of great events this month of July. So as you know, we're going to be diving into investing with no limits with Maria Giordano, and she has her husband here today, Gary. He is awesome. I met them both in person in Milwaukee at the National RIA Leadership Conference. Oh, I cannot wait for you guys to meet them. So get ready for that. We do have a raffle tonight. Text the word membership to 954-800-6961 if you'd like to win a 1-year membership to BPM RIA, $295 value. So go ahead and text that word to our event line. I'll go ahead and pop that in the chat for you guys in just a moment. So if I go a little bit quick here, you can just refer back to the chat. Alrighty, upcoming events, guys, get your cameras out, take a picture, write it down, check out the website. All of these events, you can find them on our website on bpmria.com/upcoming events. And I'll pop all these links in the chat for you guys so you can go ahead and register for all of these. So I have to highlight our 4-hour half-day live training with Maria this Saturday, guys. We're going to dive more into detail on what's happening on Saturday, but all I can say is that you will not regret going to this live training with Maria. She's awesome, and you guys will find out soon enough. So go ahead and register for that, and we'll have a little surprise later on about that. We have a free webinar next week, another free webinar with Camaplan. Guys, you do not want to miss any of these webinars. Lots of good things happening in these. I have
Uh-oh. Did we just lose Alexa?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, we lost it. You're definitely frozen, at least on my computer, but I think I just lost you.
I hope not.
If not, so
I can hear her, I just can't see her. She's frozen.
She is frozen too. Okay. So here at BPM RIA, maybe we'll upgrade our internet. Unless Alexa, I know Alexa's, worldwide traveling. Maybe she's in a cave somewhere on a cruise and didn't tell us or invite us. So that's probably why. So go ahead, Alexa. I don't know if you could still get through it, or I will.
I do have a lot of tabs open, so sorry guys. I hope you can hear me. 2 in-person events, very, very important. We have a free in-person event. This will be in networking and a workshop. So finding funds for real estate, anyone who's in the Boca area, free in-person networking and education happening at the Wyndham in Boca, July 20th. So go ahead and register for that before it fills up. July 23rd, we're doing an in-person workshop. A lot of our students, this might not be for you because you guys have full access to everything. So anyone who's not a student, please feel free to RSVP to this workshop on July 23rd. This will be in Pompano Beach, and you can find all of these on our website. So take note of these amazing events because we have a lot going on. My favorite way to keep up with events.
I just want to add to that, we just have limited seating on those. They are in person, so I do have a limit. So make sure you RSVP, guys. I don't want to turn you away from the door.
Absolutely. RSVP right now online on our website. My favorite way to keep up with events, as you guys know, you got a text alert this morning to register for our monthly meeting tonight. So if you'd like text alerts for our events, get updates, text the word BPM RIA to our event line, 954-800-6961. All righty, moving right along. As you all know, we have our Quick Start Bootcamp coming up September 10th and 11th. We did run early bird for this. I have a ton of people still wanting more information, still begging me for early bird. So go ahead, send me an email, respond to this poll that we just popped up. If you'd like more information, who's going to be speaking, how long is this, it's online, what whatever questions you have, I'm more than happy to answer those for you guys. So thank you guys for responding to this poll. I will definitely get back to you on more information so that you can attend our boot camp and hopefully do deals after the boot camp. It's happened. It happens all the time. So go ahead and respond to the poll. Thank you guys so much for responding to the poll. And I will be in touch with you on more details. And as you know, members get special member pricing. And then we have our non-member pricing as well for the boot camp quick start. Memberships to BPM RIA. So members will get in free for in-person meetings, networking meetings. They'll get special discounts to our seminars, educational workshops, as well as the amazing National RIA benefit package that we get through the National RIA. So tons of amazing discounts, guys. Home Depot, Avis, Budget, Rent Perfect, Arcana Insurance, so many more. So if you have any questions on how to sign up for a membership, let me know. I'll throw my email in the chat for you guys. And let me know if you have any questions. I have corporate memberships available as well. We have some amazing new corporate members that I will be adding over to our vendor partners on the website very, very soon. So look out for that. You can always find our amazing corporate members and vendor partners on our website, and I'll throw that link for you guys in the chat. I have a lot of people always reaching out to me, reaching out for title companies, attorneys, so many different things. And we have this on our website for you guys just to access right away. So as you all know, many of you know, we do have one-on-one coaching available at BPM RIA. This is a very, very unique one-on-one coaching program. We do put up 100% of the money for our students' deals. We do pair you with a mentor one-on-one. If you'd like to book a discovery call right now, you may do that. You can go to the website right now, book a discovery call with me. I can send you more information on everything that's included in our programs. We do include a lot. We do set you up for complete success here at BPM RIA. So go ahead and schedule a discovery call on the website, bpmria.com. If you'd like to know everything that's included in the program, what it entails, how it works, pricing, everything. I'll get you all that detailed information straight over to you. And thank you guys so much for responding to these polls. I really, really appreciate it. And this is my direct line here at the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and book that discovery call, and we can get you a free 1-hour consultation with one of our mentors and see if this program is a good fit for you guys. Alrighty, and always want to take a moment to thank National RIA, thank our speakers here today. If it wasn't for National RIA, I wouldn't know Maria. So a lot of things to be thankful for, a lot of great things happening right now. And I'm really excited for you guys to meet Maria. Thank you, Anish, for sending me to the National RIA conference. I learned so much and I connected with amazing people. It's an amazing opportunity to be a part of this network, guys. I hope you don't take advantage of it. I hope you do take advantage of being a part of this actually. So thank you guys. I'm gonna hop off and let you guys take over. Anish, any final words?
Yeah, I just want to, we thank you guys, for participating on these Zooms, our in-person events, all the above. Unfortunately, I did not was able to go to National RIA in Milwaukee, and I did not get to meet these guys in person, but their reputation is phenomenal. Our commitment here at BPM RIA is to have great speakers with true content. And these guys have spoken around the country at some of the top RIAs. And for us, even though it's virtual, we are glad and excited for the first time to have you guys on board. Some pretty much quick house rules. If you guys are new, put your questions in the Q&A. Maria and Gary are going to get to the questions near the end. I bet a lot of those questions will be answered throughout the presentation. And then, what today really is about to give you a taste. Saturday is going to really, crush it. So you're going to want to be on both. So I'm going to go ahead and give the floor or the Zoom to Maria and Gary.
Awesome. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. I am so excited to be here. Let me see if I can bring up my PowerPoint and share my screen. Hang on. There we go. Oops, wrong one. Where'd my PowerPoint go? 1 second, guys. It was just there. There we go. Can you see my slide?
Looks
Perfect.
great.
All right. Thank you. So I am Maria Giordano. And as Anish and Alexa mentioned, I met Alexa at the National RIA conference in Milwaukee last month. And Milwaukee is actually my hometown, so it was great to be back home for a while. I'm coming to you now from central Pennsylvania, and I lived for 18 years in Arizona, and I do deals all over the country. But I usually like to start out with some kind of more recent, I guess, news articles and stuff, just to give you guys, oops, and my clicker is not working for some reason, of course. Here we go. Of what's going on and what we're seeing. Now, I only have, about 75, 80 minutes or so with you guys tonight. And this, as Anish said, is just to give you a taste. It's going to be kind of rapid fire for you, but it's just to get you to where I need you to be for the 4-hour on Saturday, which is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., where we're just going to take a deeper dive into this. Now, put your questions, I guess, in the chat box or in the question and answer, box, and we're going to answer all those questions at the end because I have a lot to get through, and some of those questions are actually going to be answered while we're kind of doing this. But here's some of the things that have been going on in the real estate world, and we are coming into a different cycle. What that cycle is all going to be, no one knows. Some people say, hey, it's going to be a crash. Some people say it's going to be a hiccup. You know what? My crystal ball is broken, so I don't know. I do know, however, that creative deals are going to be the way to go. And some of the things that we're seeing right now are a little bit indicative of what we saw back when the markets crashed in 08, 09, 10, that kind of stuff. March 2022, banks started waiving appraisal. Crazy, hard to believe, but they were actually offering home buyers to get a credit of $300 or $450 to save that money on their closing docs by waiving their appraisals. Another thing that we're seeing a ton of is banks are doing stated income mortgages again. It's crazy. And people say, well, why would they be doing that? And it's just the little banks. No, it's some of the bigger banks out there. I mean, you're looking at First National Bank of America, North Star Funding, a huge mortgage company. So apparently these guys haven't learned from the first time they were doing stated income. And almost every day when I'm in my car, listening to my radio, I hear at least one or two companies, mortgage lenders offering stated income mortgages. Now, this is another thing that I just saw yesterday. And this was from last month, and it's from Starwood Capital. And I know of at least 4 other hedge funds that are doing the same thing, where they're looking to liquidate thousands of homes. Now, here for Starwood, they said, with mortgage rates rising and housing prices continuing to increase, existing home sales have declined for 4 straight months as some buyers are priced out of the market. So we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. And that's very important to you guys who are just doing, I like to call it the one-trick pony, the fixing, flipping, all cash deals. In order to survive and thrive in this new market we're going into, you got to know how to do creative strategies. You need to know how to do what I call deal stacking as well. So tonight, try not to fall asleep. I know that this can get a little bit dry at times, but I'm going to try to keep it a little entertaining for you. So stay awake. We will go, like I said, a little bit over an hour. And, I'm going to try and keep it going for you. So the 3 things that I want to come across for you, my goal for today is to help you, or tonight rather, is to find more deals in today's market. You got to be finding deals in order to be a real estate investor, in order to get more properties. But it's not just about getting deals. It's about finding motivated sellers, sellers with real estate problems. Now write that down. You need to find sellers with real estate problems. The second goal for tonight is to be able to negotiate to be the only logical choice. Now, I'm going to start you on what I like to call my negotiation matrix. I have been teaching this for over 7 years. I was the only one way back when teaching negotiations. I used to do corporate negotiation, corporate contracts, and then I got really good, segued into real estate. And so I'm really going to take you deep into the negotiations. And I used to be somebody that hated negotiations. Now, the third thing is for you to have multiple strategies for every deal. What I like to call making the impossible possible. Never replace anyone in the quicksand, but you have to have multiple strategies to get ahead of your competition, to be able to survive and thrive in this new market. So stick around to the end. I promise I'm going to give you a ton of education tonight, tools that you can use right away. In return, at the end, I have a system to offer you to make things a little bit easier for you. So I just ask for 10 minutes at the end, if you're not against that, to tell you all about it. So here's a quote that I like from John Lennon. And he says there are two basic motivating forces, fear and love. And this really pertains to the real estate market right now, because as we've seen, there is a lot of fear in the real estate market. And one of the things I've learned from Warren Buffett over the years is that when everybody's afraid and pulling out, that's when he starts looking to get back in. That's when we start finding the deals. And the thing is once you get your first deal, and type in the chat box if you're a newbie and have never done a deal before. You know, I'd kind of like to know where everybody is. Let me see if I can bring up my chat box and see it. Because once you get that first deal, all of a sudden you start going into real estate with a whole new love and acceptance and open, and it's exciting to begin with. But you never eagerly awaiting. That's awesome. And that was me. I sat on the fence for 2 years trying to get all the real estate knowledge I could and never feeling like I had enough knowledge. And you know what? You're always going to be learning something new. And after I got my first deal, now, and I was from a family of real estate investors. I saw how my parents did things wrong. I saw how real estate spit them up, chew them out before we could do background checks, and eventually bankrupted them and ruined their marriage. So I learned a lot from them. And that was part of the reason why I was afraid to get back into real estate. But once I got my first deal, my first fix and flip, once I started doing the Airbnbs over 10 years ago, before it was the thing, suddenly I was all in with a new excitement and passion for real estate investing. And you never know where it's going to take you. So for me, I've been on ABC Nightline, in the Wall Street Journal, Good Morning America, which then ABC actually offered me a reality television show that I turned down because I don't need that kind of drama in my life. I got 5 kids here. I've been in Investors Business and Realty Track, to name a few. Now, tonight is all about you guys, all about dynamic deal structuring, investing with no limits. Let's see, here we go. Now, there are 3 steps to your success. First, you have to be able to locate the properties. That is your marketing. The second thing is to lock in those properties and then be able to leverage them. Leveraging the properties, other people's money, their mortgages, that sort of thing. But see, where I grew up as a little girl here, I was brought up to believe in the American dream. And the American dream my family brought me up to believe in was I was going to do one of 2 things. Either I was going to go into the trades because my father wanted me to become an electrician with him, or I was going to go to college. Well, this is my town that I moved to when I was in high school in Port Washington, Wisconsin. You have windshields there of minus 20. So good thing Alexis was there in the summertime. And I quickly decided I didn't want to go into the trades because they're always working outside in the winter. So instead, I decided to go and get a college education. Now, the whole thing is that you're supposed to be able to take care of you and your family. But what I quickly learned was that American dream is flawed because sometimes bad things happen to good people. You know, you're divorced, you lose your job, or you get furloughed. We saw a lot of that during COVID. Businesses get shut down, the family business closes, or you have to take a pay cut. Well, that was me. I became a divorced mom with 4 little kids And I lost my job as a registered nurse way back when. And suddenly I couldn't pay my bills. Suddenly I didn't have enough money for food. And just like my parents back in the 80s, I was ending up standing in food lines, getting public assistance. I was on Women, Infants, and Children, and I couldn't afford coats for my kids during the bitter cold Wisconsin winter. So what do? Have you ever asked yourself, how much money do you need to have to get through when the bad things happen? Put that in the chat box. Have you ever thought about, is it 3 months? Is it a year? How much is that? Well, I guess because no one's putting anything in the chat box. So anyhow, when I was growing up, my parents, 1 year is awesome. Well, my parents told me 3 months, 6 months I'm seeing. So is that even enough? During COVID, we had people that weren't working for 18 months, 2 years. So I quickly found out that 3 months isn't enough. And like many of you, and that's why you're probably here wanting to invest in real estate, I had an overwhelming desire to become financially free. But what do you do when you're a divorced single parent, no income coming in, no child support? Well, I knew real estate was the answer. And I still think it's the answer because it has made more millionaires and billionaires than anything else out there. But we tend to start looking at people for advice who's never done what it is we want to do. And their beliefs, misguided, usually kind of corrupts our mind. We hear that it's too risky, or we hear that, and this is one of my favorite, girl, you're broke and you need money to make money. Well, I'm going to show you tonight and again on Saturday how that simply isn't true. How you can buy real estate, including the house that I have right now, without using any of your own money, and how to use these creative strategies. Well, I decided to prove everyone wrong. And in less than 6 months of getting my first flip, I was doing over 6 properties per month, and I quit my day job as a full-time real estate investor. And I became financially free. So when COVID hit, I didn't have to worry about getting laid off. All my tenants continued to pay. I was continuing to buy more real estate. In fact, I grew my portfolio quite a bit during COVID. But you've got to ask yourself, why? You see, each one of these properties here, I bought through one of the strategies that I'm going to show you tonight. I buy real estate with little to no money and regardless of my credit, and you can too. To become financially free, and write this down, one house at a time. You see, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So when I got started, my big why was my family. I wanted to be financially free, but I wanted to be there for my kids. I didn't want to, be working day, night shift, holidays and weekends and telling my kids on Christmas that you have to wait until 8:00 at night when mommy comes home to open your Christmas presents. I wanted to be there to get them up in the morning, have breakfast, take them to school, and be there when they come home at night. So that was why I got into real estate investing. And I quickly discovered that there are no limits to your real estate investing. So the 3 things we're going to talk about tonight is step 1, your marketing. You've got to be marketing. If your phone isn't ringing and you're not getting deals, you're not going to be making offers. So that is step 1. That is the most important thing for you to be doing. Step 2 is going to be your negotiations. I'm going to be giving you my negotiation matrix today and then drill it way down on Saturday. You need to be able to negotiate like a Jedi Master. We're going to start building that script because what I know is that every Academy Award winner, Oscar winner, has a great script to go off of that gives them that winning performance. Well, we're going to help you build that script. And then the third thing is to create your deals, creative deal structuring. Now, deals are made, not found. Write that down. Deals are made and not found. And I'm going to teach you how to do something called deal stacking that nobody else out there is teaching. So let's begin with your marketing. Step 1. You've got to create that money marketing tree, that funnel. And I get it. For somebody it's like marketing is marketing. But here's the thing. If your phone's not ringing off the hook, if people aren't contacting you, your marketing isn't working. So you need to pick three. Pick three strategies to market for more deals. Now, what does this mean? And tonight I'm going to show you 10 different ways to market to find property. So I want you to be ready to take a picture. So if you have your phone or you can do a screenshot, you're going to want to take a picture of my 10 different techniques. In the course that I have, we have over 100 different ways. But all I want you to do is pick three. Why three? Well, because if you're picking one and it doesn't work, your marketing stops. If you pick 5 or 6, you're like a squirrel running all over the place. And the problem with that is that you've created this big mess and you're letting leads fall by the wayside. So you just need to pick 3 strategies that appeal to you and that you can implement. And you must be consistent. Remember, repetition and frequency equals money, equals deals coming in. Now, with your marketing, there's one thing I want you guys to promise me you will stop doing, because especially where you are in Florida, and I get it, you guys get snowbirds just like I got in Arizona. Stop marketing to the out-of-state absentee owner list, because it does not equal a motivated seller. Now, if you stack your list, because I do a lot of stacking even with my marketing, and you take an out-of-state absentee owner list and you combine it with a probate, so you're getting the out-of-state absentee owners that have died, that equals motivation. But just because someone's out of state does not mean that they're a motivated seller. You're wasting your money. And the number one reason why people are failing in real estate is because you can't find the deals. So here are my top 10 ways to find real estate deals right now. Now, when I was first getting started, number one, driving for dollars was how I found my very first deal. And I made time when I was going to work, when I was going to my kids' sports events, whatever it was. And my very first property was on a corner after a storm, and it had a big old blue tarp over it. That was a desperate seller. It turned out that property was bank owned, and I simply sent the bank a letter and bought the property directly from the bank. Now I get it. Gas prices are high. A lot of people don't want to go driving around for dollars or for properties. So the next thing I do is Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace, or social media, Facebook in general, I am crushing it. I don't like social media. I don't like Facebook, but I make it work for me. Who says I have to do it? I have a virtual assistant that does it, and I have teenagers that can do it for me. They see a property, they send the seller a direct message from my Facebook page, or from my profile. If they're seeing an estate sale, they send them a message, and I'll write this down, and they say, hey, I have been looking for a property in the neighborhood just like yours. Would you have anything against selling that property? I'm using different negotiating strategies there, and I'm asking them a question where the no favors me, because usually they're interested in selling. And that's how I'm finding almost a property a week. And I don't do a lot of marketing anymore. But number 10, the third thing that works really well right now is your code violations list. Code violations are super, super hot because there's a lot of people that don't have the money and cannot maintain their properties. So you contact your local code enforcement officer, and you ask them if they can send you a list. Some counties actually have their code violations online. One of my students who did just that was Misha. She's up in Appleton, Wisconsin, and she at one time was a single mom of 5 kids, homeless, living out of her car. And like me, and probably you guys, she wanted to invest in real estate. And she started out using videos, using YouTube. And it didn't take her long when she started hearing about go to your local RIA, join your local RIA, just like you guys did. So she joins her local RIA. She hears me talking about code violations. She invests in my system. She calls up her local code enforcement officer. That officer gives her 3 properties. From those 3 properties, the first one, she wholesaled. The second property, she took the funds from the first one that she wholesaled and got her first rental property. And then the third property, it didn't stand. But that code enforcement officer got her in touch with 2 others. And now she has an endless supply of leads. She says these code inspectors thank her for helping them while making money buying their problem properties. Maria, you're the best. So who said the problem properties has to necessarily just be the seller? Cities have problem. My friend Michelle and I, we did some door knocking. And by we, I mean, we got somebody down in Florida, Panama City, to door knock for us. He found a vacant property. From there, we found out that that owner we contacted had 4 other properties in Florida, in Panama City. I don't live down there, but they're within walking distance of the beach. They're going to make great vacation marketing. Now that you got your marketing down, the second thing you need to do is your negotiations. You need to be able to negotiate like a Jedi Master. And the problem most of you guys have when you're negotiating, and I get it seems intimidating, but this is how you're going to be able to lock in those properties. When you're negotiating, a lot of you are coming across needy. And the reason why you're becoming so needy and you're thinking, oh, I just got to have this property because neediness causes fear is because you haven't done step 1. You haven't located those properties. You haven't done your marketing. You haven't been consistent using repetition and frequency. But once you do your marketing correctly, you have so many sellers contacting you that you no longer become needy. You start talking to them. You start having a conversation with them. Now, way back when I used to do corporate healthcare contracts, so I was negotiating all the time. And I found out that it was really easy for me to negotiate when I was doing it for someone else. So when I started out doing it in real estate, I pretended I was doing it for someone else's company, as crazy as that sounds. But then I started joining other people's mastermind, other negotiators. So I learned from people like Jim Camp, Roger Dawson, Jimmy Napier, who's a good old boy from Florida. Some of you might know who he is. He passed away a few years ago. Stuart Diamond, different people like that. But this man is the #1 FBI hostage negotiator in the world. I joined his mastermind several years ago before COVID. And what I learned is that you will always save money and make more money through your negotiation. Your negotiations is your #1 most profitable money-making job, or the most profitable thing you can do. So in your real estate business, again, you will make more money and save more money, and in your everyday life, always be negotiating. I use it in everything. In fact, we make it a game. So in your negotiations tonight, we're going to talk about your ARV, the after repair value. We're going to talk about your comps or your comparables. So if you're new, hang on, I'm going to explain some of this soon. Your repairs. We're going to talk about your MAO, your maximum allowable offer, your rent rolls, as well as your exit strategy. And you have to have multiple exit strategies for every deal you do. See, no one teaches negotiations like I do. And like I said, I train with the #1 FBI hostage negotiator in the world. And what I teach will save you and make you a ton of money. Let me see. Here we go. And so I want to go next over some terminology. And I know it's kind of hard to do this because I can't see you guys, but on Saturday, we're going to have a completely different format and be way more interactive. So it'll be a lot more fun than just sitting there hearing me talk. So your after repair value is your ARV. That's the full market value after the property is all fixed up and drop dead gorgeous. The next thing is you got to know your comps, your comparables. Now, you don't have to be a realtor. How many of you are realtors, by the way? Put that in the chat box if you're a realtor. I'm not going to pick on you. I actually use realtors all the time as one of my lead sources. But you don't have to be a realtor or go to a realtor to get comps. Oh, great. I got a lot of you. Fantastic. I probably teach more realtors than anything else out there, honestly. But the thing is I'm typically using Zillow right here for most of my comps. Why? And I know the realtors are groaning, are you kidding me? But Zillow tends to be below market value very often. And it's also where the homeowners are going to go, probably over 95% of them. But what I'm looking at is I'm looking at sold in the same subdivision. And in the market we're in right now, I'm doing it within 30 days. In a normalized market, which we're probably going to go back to very shortly, it's more like 90 days. And I do it plus or minus 10% of the square footage of the property, which is very, very important. Similar condition, similar size, as I said, and I get your appraisers do within 20%. Nice properties versus nice, and distressed versus distressed. But the third thing you need to know is your estimate of repairs. Now, there are two sets of repair costs you have to have. Write this down. The first one is for flipping. The second is for rental, to get it rent ready. And the way I do it is it's your materials plus your labor. And what I found in today's market, it's roughly $5,000 per week for a rehab, or $60,000 for a 12-week rehab. Now, if it's a rental and it's just paint and carpet, you're probably looking at maybe $5,000, and you should be able to get it done in less than a week. And lastly is your maximum allowable offer. This is your mail. That is that after repair value multiplied by 70%. You guys are probably doing 80% down in Florida. The offer Michelle and I are making on the property in Panama City, we're doing 70% minus the repairs. That is your low all cash offer. And what that looks like in this example is an after repair value of $200,000 minus your $60,000 in repairs. So your Mayo comes to 200 multiplied by 70%, which comes to 140,000. Now write this down because I want you guys to be able to do this math with me. Minus the $60,000 in repairs, which gives you a maximum offer that you can make is $80,000. Now, do I have any wholesalers on here tonight? Who are my wholesalers? Anyone, just type yes in if you're a wholesaler. Okay, good. I've got some wholesalers. Fantastic. So your wholesalers, you need to get a minimum, and I typically get a minimum of $10,000 or whatever you can get. There is no limits. The creative deals I'm going to show you, you can also wholesale, but that $10,000 must come off of that 80. So the lowest or the maximum allowable offer you can give if you plan to wholesale this property is $70,000, but you have to start way below Mayo. And on Saturday, I'm going to talk to you about how you anchor the seller, why most investors are giving them the cash offer all wrong and just totally upsetting, let's just say, that seller. So we're going to go over that on Saturday. But then just write your offer on a yellow pad. I use just a plain old yellow sheet of paper. Now tonight, I'm going to give you my 3 offer sheet, or show you what my 3 offer sheet looks like. I created this during COVID for those of you who are having a hard time making sense of 3 offers. But here's the thing, when you're doing a creative offer, when you're doing a seller finance offer, the seller things, it's price or terms. They have to agree to your purchase price or the terms. You need to agree to the terms or their purchase price. You're negotiating on price, down payment, how long or time. You're also negotiating on maybe monthly payments. So remember that. I'm going to show you one of my deals, if that's okay with you guys, and take you through how to do 3 offers. How many of you haven't done 3 offers or need help doing 3 offers? Type that in the chat box if you need help doing 3 offers. You guys are all doing 3 offers, or you guys all know how? Okay, I've got a couple of you now. So this is the yellow sheet of paper I use. I split it in half. On one side, I put the seller's present situation. This is all the information I find out from the seller. On the other side, I put their future situation because I want them to start thinking about their future. Now, this is an actual property of mine that I negotiated with Gloria. And when I was talking to Gloria, I found out that her mom, this is her mother's property, that she's owned it for over 20 years. So right there, you should be thinking about taxes. There, as a landlord, I know that when I sell my rental properties, I'm going to have long-term capital gains, recapture, ordinary income, all this yucky tax stuff. And the best way to mitigate that is to do a seller finance deal or an installment sale or a terms deal, however you want to call it. Now, talking to Gloria, I asked her, I was like, so is the property vacant? Yes. Well, tell me about your last tenant. Their last tenant was a Section 8 tenant. Well, how much were you renting it for? And I just started writing down everything I found out about the property. I found out that they were turning over the property almost yearly and that Gloria was managing the property and that she wants to move to a warmer climate. I asked her, well, why not have somebody else manage your mother's property? Well, I found out that Gloria didn't trust anyone else to manage her mother's property and that her mom has cancer and is receiving chemo. Her mom has stage 4. Mothers and daughters is that a daughter usually is not planning to move to another state within a year or two if she doesn't believe her mom is going to be around. So Gloria's mom has cancer, is receiving chemo, and I asked her, well, what do you need the money for? She wants the money for her mom to live on for as long as she has left. I asked her, where is your mom living right now? Her mom is living next door. See, all I'm doing is having a conversation, a natural conversation like you were sitting down with a friend. I found out that she, and I asked her, oh, Gary, can you get the dog out of my office? Sorry, guys, I have my puppy in here. I found out to keep this property, what would you do to the property? What would you update? What needs to be fixed? And she said that she would update the electrical panel and that the sewer lines with her mom's property next door needs to be separated. So when I was asking about the rent, I said, so your mom, out of the $825, let me guess, she's probably netting after taxes and insurance and some maintenance stuff, about $550. And Gloria said, yep, that's about right. I said, is that what's covering her living expenses right now? And she said, yes. Her property next door was also free and clear. So I started asking Gloria, what if I could take away all of these problems? What if you never have to deal with the tenant again? And you don't have to worry about managing the property. You can go ahead and move to North Carolina. Would you have anything against me giving your mom money to live off of and me taking care of all of the repairs? I'll take care of the electrical upgrade, no more sewer headache. So this is how I start getting to think of either a lease deal where I'm doing a rent to own with the seller, a long-term lease, or I'm looking to do a seller finance deal. Now I asked Laura, what does she believe the property would rent for? She said $950. Well, I own 2 other properties on this street, so I happen to know the fair market rent on it is actually about $1,300. So this is that 3-offer sheet that I started telling you about. This is the goal here. So if you have a hard time structuring offers, pay attention to this. And we are going to be doing a bunch more of deal structuring and making offers that stick on Saturday. So offer number 1 is your all cash low offer. Now, Gloria is asking $170,000 on this property. Repairs to flip it is about $40,000. Repairs to rent it, remember there's 2 sets, is $0. They've painted it, they've cleaned it, it's rent ready. So my low cash offer is $86,000. Now, the next thing I'm asking is, when would you like to close? When is it convenient for you? Because it's not about me. Well, Gloria said they wanted to close as soon as possible. And I know that with my title company, it'll take about 14 days to do all the title work. So I said, would you have anything against closing in 14 days? Now there's no monthly payments, no number of months, and nothing down because it's all cash. Now offer number 2 is going to be your middle of the road offer. You're leading them from one to the next. You're guiding them. That's how you're setting this up. So right middle of the road. This offer is going to be more. It's $135,000 with 14 down, $535 per month until paid. I always write until paid. I'm not going to sit there and figure out how many months and all that. Let them figure it out. And this is the offer where I put something down. So in this case, I asked them, they probably have medical expenses, closing costs. So I'm going to put $30,000. I do a little bit higher than usually what I end up with. Then offer number 3, that is your highest offer. That's either what they're asking or just under or just over what they're asking. Again, I'm using 14 days because I know I can get it done and they want it done as soon as possible. Now, the monthly payment on that one is a little bit higher as well. That one is $687 until paid, and I'm putting nothing down. Now, here's the thing. Most of you will not go here, and this is where it gets uncomfortable, but write this down. In that discomfort is where the profit is. Get comfortable being uncomfortable at first, because initially it's going to feel weird, but then you're going to be making so much money, you won't care. So I look at Gloria and I said, look, it seems like, and this is called emotional empathy, it seems like you hate all 3 offers. Now you have to understand, people learn in one of 3 ways. They're either audio, visual, or kinesthetic, meaning touchy-feely. So I'm saying, it seems like, touchy-feely, you hate all 3 offers. It looks like you don't like any of them. And she's like, nope, I don't. I said, well, surely there must be something. This is how you start coming up with your matrix. Surely there must be something you like in these. And typically the seller will look at you and go, oh. And this is what you've got to get over. Don't stop at no. Most people say, okay, they don't like it, and you're going to take your stuff and go home. Instead, you need to go there. You have to say, okay, well, there's got to be something in here you like. And they look at me and they go, no. Well, can we agree that you like cash? And I write cash on the sheet. Now I get you don't like the cash price, but can we agree you want cash? And they nod and say yes. I said, well, it sounds like price is important to you. Would I be wrong, or would you disagree that you wouldn't want $165,000? Would you be against getting $165,000 for this property? I'm like, no, I like that price. Which I said, well, you see, we're not so far apart after all. So I can give you cash and I can give you $165,000. Would you be against telling me what you need the money for? Well, that's when I find out that she has some medical bills to pay. She wants her mom to have a little bit of extra money for a few other things and the closing costs. So I said, well, I can't do $30,000, but from the medical bills, which are around 10, and closing costs, which is another 5, and having some extra money left over, would you have anything against receiving $20,000 down? Now, I can do all of that. Would you be against your mom having her bills paid every month? Would you be against your mom receiving an income every month without tenants, termites, and toilets, and you never have to touch the property again? Well, that's when I give them the monthly price. And we come up with $631.37. Now, write this down. Odd numbers seem more real. What seems more real? 600, 650, 700, or $631.37. Obviously, the 631.37 seems more real. Now, in truth, I just pulled that number out of my hiney because I know I can be profitable on this property. I know that after all expenses, it will still cash flow, and that's very important. So you have to have multiple exit strategies when you're doing this. Now, the first one we did was long-term. I could house hack this at $600 per room or $1,800 per month. I could lease option or rent to own it to a tenant buyer, only paying for taxes and insurance at $1,500 a month. Whoops. Hang on, let me go back. Oops, I guess I can't go back. Or the third thing I could do, I don't know why my thing's not going back. Oops, sorry. The other thing I could do would be to VRBO it or short-term rent it and come to about $3,700 a month. But during Penn State weekends, it would actually come to, oh, my whole thing's messed up here. Hang on, let me see if I can, it's not gonna let me. Okay, so I could actually, oops, now everything's not working, hang on. Oops, hang on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna see if I can bring it back. Whoops. I guess I can't. Oh, well. Anyhow, so I could house hack it or I could short-term rental it during Penn State football weekends for about $6,000. Now, here's a student of mine, Ben, and there was a slide before this that skipped, I guess. And Ben was a student of mine. He went to college. He was supposed to go to medical school. Dad didn't want, or he didn't want to do that. His father was a doctor. So instead, he decided he wanted to be a real estate investor. Now, Ben invested in the Quick Start system. He got really good at marketing. He had a sales and marketing job. And he had so many deals coming in every month, sellers calling him. But he wasn't able to get any of them to commit. He wasn't able to close on any of these deals. So what I often offer my students is what's called a lifeline call. Would you guys like, or would you be against having to be able to reach out to me and call me when you have a deal and we discuss how to structure the deal, or if your marketing is not working, what we can do to make your marketing work. Well, in Ben's case, he wasn't able to get his deals to close. And after sitting down with him, I found out that he was coming across as a pushy used car salesman. So when we sat down and he got comfortable with no, he never even looked at the negotiations course because he thought he could negotiate. Well, he was getting a no from a seller and taking a step and leaving. He wasn't comfortable with no. But after he got comfortable with no, he went from doing 0 deals in 30 days to finding out what is the seller's problem, uncovering that one thing that when known changes the whole complexity of the deal. And he went from doing 0 deals to averaging 8 deals per month or making $22,000 per deal. And he built that consistent marketing funnel and took the small negotiation script and was able to get the deals done. Now, this is Ben, and I want you to listen to this real quick.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I'm a real estate investor in Kansas City, Missouri. I just wanted to take a quick second to give a shout out to Maria Giordano. I went through Maria's program about a year ago, and before finding her, I'd spent a lot of money on investing and learning about investing. And the only thing I could say is I wish I would have found her sooner. She did more to accelerate my real estate career than any investment I've made. The main reason is her program. It's structured in a way that kind of walks you through every step of the real estate investing process. And it really addressed almost all of the fears that I had about real estate investing and kind of got me off the ground to doing deals. And if you're looking for somebody who's a reliable coach or reliable mentor, or just wanting to learn from someone who's been there and done it in the industry multiple times, I would highly recommend Maria. She's taken me from 0 deals a month to right now I'm averaging 8 deals a month, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how my life's changed. So thank you, Maria.
So what made all the difference to Ben was that negotiation piece, was having that negotiation matrix and being able to structure those offers. Now, this is Roxanne and Dale. They're a mother and son. This is the postcard that I had them make. See, it speaks to people. People can relate to a mother and son. They can relate to people. And I put, thinking of selling your home, let us make you an offer. We are a local mother and son team. Now, Roxanne and Dale has spent over $40,000 over 2 years and never got a deal. During COVID, he lost his job. At 30 years old, he had to move back in with his mom, with his grandma. His mom is a disabled nurse. She's retired and she's afraid of running out of money. And so what Dale said is he sent me this text and he said, a huge thank you to Maria. This time last year, I had no deals, tears running down my face and a sense of hopelessness, but perseverance and following a plan got me through. Thank you for all possible without your guidance. This is just the beginning. Thank you, Maria. Because of you, my mom will soon have a retirement, and I am confident without any doubt in doing this full time. Your teaching has taken us very far. In the last year, Dale went from doing no deals to doing wholesale deals, to doing a subject to doing a short sale deal, to buying his first couple of flip properties. He's now flipped 3 properties and has started his rental portfolio. He's got a couple of duplexes and a few other rental properties. But it just came from implementing, from getting comfortable talking to sellers. The other thing is Dale spends 0 money on marketing, but you've got to implement. And the number one reason why people are losing their deals is because you don't know how to do the deal. So the next part, the third thing I want to share with you is how to create these deals out of thin air. And you have to remember, you make more money by using less of your own, but deals are made and not found. This is how you can make the impossible possible. So the biggest thing that's going to be a huge game changer going forward in this next turn in the market is going to be subject twos. Those of you who are only doing the all cash offers, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to be going the way of the dinosaurs. You're going to become extinct. Those of you who understand these creative deals, how to make the 3 offers, you are going to be surviving and thriving in this next market. You see, a subject to deal, in a subject to deal, the existing financing that a homeowner or a seller has is taken over by an investor. The seller is not paying off the existing mortgage, and the buyer is taking over the payments. The paid balance of the existing mortgage is then calculated as part of the buyer's purchase price. Now, Saturday, I'm going to take you deeper into understanding, and I'll show you a couple of subject to examples. In fact, the house that I'm living in, which I'll show you at the end, I did a subject to on. I shorted the second and did a subject to. I did what's called deal stacking. So here is one of my favorite sources for subject twos, tired landlords. Another great source is people that are in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure. And if you want to stack your marketing, pull a list from ListSource or PropStream or whatever of tired landlords and stack it with pre-foreclosure. See how many landlords are also in default. But this is Joe. Joe, let me just show you my yellow sheet I did on him. Joe owned his property for 7 years as a rental. He moved out, bought it when he was in college, moved out, got married, and his wife was having his first child. His tenants, he hated. He had turnover every year. He was an accidental landlord. He had no idea and no business probably being at night. And it wasn't because his wife was having a baby. He couldn't sleep at night because his tenants were constantly calling him. You've met those landlords or those that have been abused by their tenants. In his case, if the tenant had a light bulb that burnt out, they would call him. Seriously, they would call him to go change a light bulb, and he did. Now, I told Joe, look, you need to list it with a realtor. You're going to get more money for this property if a realtor lists it. And he said he's tried to. However, the realtor told him he had to come in with $20,000 to sell it. And he was just a little short of $20,000. Followed up with Joe for 9 months. Write that down. You've got to follow up. 85% of your deals are in the follow-up. So one day at night, his tenants called him up because they had a light bulb that needed to be changed. The next day, Joe called me and was like, just take it. I'm done. I'm over. I hate it. So I met Joe around the corner at a Starbucks. And because I was out and about, I didn't have my paper with me, but I had my course. So I went into my course and I had my tablet and I downloaded my fillable 2-page contract. We filled it all out, electronically signed it, and sent it over and opened up escrow. Within a couple of weeks, I closed on that property, paying only $1,300 in closing costs. Now, when I was talking to Joe, I said, would you have anything against me paying your mortgage? He's like, how does that work? Well, you wouldn't have any more tenant headaches. You would no longer have to manage the property. You could sleep at night. No more repair calls. No more changing light bulbs. Now, that particular property, I could house hack and make $1,800 per month on it, doing it as a student rental. Now, some of you guys are thinking, that's great, Maria, you're the expert, you know how to do this. I'm new, I've never done anything like this before. Well, my next student is Sherry. She's a 51-year-old daycare worker making only $24,000 a year. She was a single mom with 3 boys, and all she wanted to do was make an extra $10,000. Think about that, just $10,000, not per month, per year. She wanted to be able to help her son with his college books and take her granddaughter to Disney. I mean, you guys can probably relate to that in Florida. That was huge to her. I mean, my why was to be able to be there for my kids, get them up, take them to school. So write down, what is your why? What is it you want real estate to do for you? Money is just money unless it's something that you want or you need, unless your why is bigger. So Sherry only had a few dollars for the marketing. She started with the Quick Start. Now, the Quick Start is the 5-week action plan to get you your first or your next deal done in 5 weeks or less. She didn't even get through the 5 weeks. In fact, she did it in less than 30 days. She chose probates because probates, which are people who have passed away, are usually problem properties for their families. So her very first letter, she got her very first phone call right from using the probate letter from the marketing course. She went through the call script verbatim, set the appointment. Then she called me on a lifeline call because she was like freaking out here. Well, because she had everything she needed, we were able to structure a subject to seller finance offer. We found out that the property was in pre-foreclosure. She was 3 months behind. We found out what her monthly payment was, how much she owed, and what the seller needed from it. She needed just money to move, $500 to move to a condo. So when Sherry went to meet with the seller, she took her property inspection form right from the Fix and Flip course, went through the property from top to bottom, and was able to sit down and do an offer with that seller that netted her $54,000 on her very first appointment. She made more than twice her annual salary as a daycare worker. But most importantly, Sherry got her self-esteem back. She was like, wow, this can be done. Now, a huge part of that was knowing your steps. So see, I am big on checklists because I know, and this is my son, Alexander, who passed away this past year. He was a Marine. He was a mortarman. And what I know about the military, and here's my husband, he was a former C-130 navigator. He Delta Gulf War in the Gulf War. They have a checklist. The military uses a checklist for everything they do. What I know as a nurse, cardiopulmonary resuscitation is just a checklist. Do this, then this. If this doesn't work, then you do that. So it's an algorithm. It's a checklist you follow. Your airlines, the pilots and the flight attendants, they are all using checklists because they know if they miss one thing, it can mean death to the crew, the passengers, people on the ground. So Sherry used my subject to checklists to put the deal together. Now, I forgot to tell Alexa and Anish this, but on Saturday, for those of you who come, this is no ethical bribe for you, I am going to be gifting you with my subject to checklist so you can have the framework to put these types of deals together. This is Sherry.
My first call, my first scheduled appointment, and then my first contract done. All in one day. That was a little overwhelming, but exciting. Like it can be done. This can be done.
So here's the thing. Cash is a 4-letter word. It is the easy way to do deals. You've got to be able to use creative deal structure and creative strategies to put these deals together to survive and thrive. And that's what we're going to be teaching more of on Saturday. We're going to teach you how to get that quick cash if you need a wholesale to get more deals. We're going to talk to you about your private money investors. But today, I hope you learned now how took a picture of those 10 different strategies. Now, like I said, in the marketing course, we have over 100 different strategies. You only need 3. Just pick the 3 that work for you and then implement. Be consistent, frequency and repetition. The second thing is how to negotiate to be the only logical choice. We started building on your negotiation matrix. On Saturday, I'm going to teach you probably about another 6 different strategies in our negotiation matrix for you to use. And it comes across very easy, very natural. And I'll even tell you how you can get the seller's permission to ask them questions that you have already written down so you don't feel silly. And then we have gone over multiple strategies for every deal. You can wholesale. You can seller finance, or I'm sorry, you can do Airbnbs, you can house hack, and you can do subject tos, seller carries, all different strategies for one deal. Now, my goal today, as I said, was to give you the brief framework to get you out there and start doing deals. On Saturday, this is what you're going to learn. We're going to go over dynamic deal structuring. So you learn how you can profit from any deal out there. You can learn the beginner to the advanced money-making strategies. So you can master the steps to understand your seller's real estate problems. Again, you're not looking for properties. You're looking for people with real estate problems. And then you're going to make offers on them. You should be making an offer on actually 3 offers really, at minimum of 2 on every single property you see. The one with the landlord who was upside down, I still made him a low cash offer. I prepared him for it. I anchored him for it. He would have had to do a short sale, but I still made him a low cash offer. Now, you're also going to know what the one thing that is missing from 99% of most real estate investors offer and why most investors are failing to get their offers accepted. You need to know the secrets to survive and thrive in this new real estate market and leave with an action plan. See, it's not just good enough to be here with me tonight or come and join me for 4 hours on Saturday if you don't have that blueprint, if you don't have that for you to do more deals, for you to take it and start doing your real estate investing. So on Saturday, be able to ask me questions as we're going. We're doing it in a completely more of a meeting format instead of a webinar format. So you can go ahead and ask me questions. You see, each one of these properties, and this is just a small handful of the properties I've done, have allowed me to leverage my freedom. These properties have allowed for my oldest daughter, who is visually impaired, to have her technology paid for. It has allowed for me to stay home. And this property here is one that I bought using deal stacking. Now, this is an 8,635 square foot property. In the chat box, put down how much you think I use, how much cash you think I had to use this property. Does anybody have an idea? No one has an idea. Right off the bat, Kevin, you are absolutely correct. I bought it using 0 money of my own money. I did a subject to on the first. I shorted the second to come up with $110,000+ to close on this property. This is what I'm talking about, deal stack. When I talk about deal stacking, you can use it to buy your own property. We moved into this, I was going to flip it, but because I was going to be making over $500,000 on it, it's now worth 1.25. When we bought it, we paid only about $445,000. It's now worth $1,250,000. And I bought it without using any of my own money, deal stacking, other techniques. So I ask you, why are you here? What is the peace in your life you are looking for? What is the balance in your life? What is important to you? Are you here because you can't find motivated sellers? Is it because you're unable to get the sellers to accept your terms or your price? Is it because you're that one trick pony that only knows that one strategy, which is the all low cash offer that frankly ticks off most sellers? Are you here because you don't know how to structure a creative deal? Or what if the seller says yes? And this is me in the beginning. Oh my God, what if they say yes and you don't have the funds to close? Are you here because you don't have all the legal contracts and you're saying, oh my God, what if they say yes? What if I need this? And what if this? And what if this? Or you don't have all the checklists to get the deal done. On Saturday, I'm giving you my subject to checklist. I have a checklist for every stage of your real estate investment. That you don't know how to market to find more deals? Is it that you don't know how to talk with sellers or private monies? All negotiations is sitting down across the kitchen table or on a phone, not texting, and finding out what is the seller's problem? What is it that they need? And if you can help them. Is your problem that you don't know how to structure a deal or make the 3 offers? Today, I showed you just a smidgen of structuring. I showed you the basic matrix of making your 3 offers. I showed you how you can go over it with the seller to come up with the hybrid offer. Is your problem that you don't know how you should be answering the phone when a seller calls? So you don't. I mean, I got so nervous when a seller would call me. I mean, I almost felt like I was going to throw up initially. But then I created the call script and it took me through all of it. So I didn't get the brain fog when they called. Is it that you don't have a system to give you all of that and speed up your timeline to get the deal done within the next 5 weeks? If this is your issue, if these are the problems, if this is what you are fearing, I do have a solution for you. Now, for those of you who are not going to be here on Saturday, I have a course that actually I have been doing this for about 7 years now. I've been teaching. And this is my 4th rendition of the course. And I mentioned earlier about how my son passed away last year. And I almost stopped teaching because of that. But going through his stuff, and he was starting his real estate career. He was 24 years old when he passed away. And I came across his notebooks. And his notebooks had my words in his writing. And I saw what these teachings have done. And I saw how much he implemented. And back in December, I took the month and I completely revamped, redid my website, rolled out an entirely new website. So all those people who started with me 7 years ago, they're still continuing to get all of the new stuff. Now, all of my packages and courses, all the bonuses, it comes to $4,585. But that is not what you guys pay. I love my time with Alexa, and I wanted to offer you guys a really, really smoking good deal. So for all of you guys, it is just a one-time price for life of the course of only $997. And like I said, I saw how much this meant to people like my son. I saw how much it meant to my students that had reached out to me. So what this includes is your 3 basic courses, which is the Real Estate Marketing Mastery, the Real Wealth Academy 2.0, which is the quick start. That's the 5 weeks to get you up and going, the Ninja Negotiations, and the Little to No Money. And what I love about this course is it is a system. Each one is an integral piece of the other. They're all puzzles. One leads into the other. And I like to refer to it as the ultimate real estate growth system, so you can attract more motivated sellers with real estate problems who want to sell to you. Now, the Real Estate Wealth Builder is designed so you can be closing on your first or your next deal in less than 5 weeks, kind of like what Sherry did. And I built it in a variety of ways. So I had a learning disability when I was younger. In fact, in Milwaukee, I was in the basement of the school. So I am really in tune and is visually impaired. She's legally blind. So I'm really in tune to how people learn. Most people learn in a variety. You got to be taken by the hand. And most people, it's, a combination of that. So I put in all of the contracts. They're all in a fillable format. No more retyping people's contracts out. You've got it all fillable right there. We've got over 20 different marketing letters for every situation for the seller. All of your subject to contracts, your options, your leases, everything is included in there. You get over 100 videos. Most of them are 2 to 5 minutes long, because I get it, you're busy, and you can access them on your phone, your tablet, you can stream it to your television. You also get a chat box. Now, I mentioned the Lifeline calls, which I'll offer, but you also get a chat box with every lesson. So you can ask me questions. And as you go in there, there's not a lot of chats right now because, as I said, I just re-enrolled the course, just relaunched it. But you can ask me questions and I answer, not my assistant, not my secretary, not my husband. I go in there and I answer them live myself. And everything is 100% downloadable. So no more carrying around CDs and DVDs and all that stuff. Most people don't even have CDs or DVD players anymore. No more carrying the manuals. So you get everything in a drop-down course, guys. The form page is easy to downloadable with the fillable forms. Course one, as I said, is the Marketing Mastery. It includes the 5-week quick start action plan as well. It has your blueprint. This is your marketing blueprint to get you up and going. Over 100 different marketing techniques. You're not going to worry about there being 100. You don't need to know them all. You're just going to pick 3. It's how to locate the most profitable deals. You got your form letters. You've got over 20 marketing letters and dozens of contracts for every type of deal you do. It's about sending the right message to the seller and when to send it. Some of mine, because I do the stacking with my marketing as well, which I'll talk more about in my courses, I get as high as a 21% response rate, because it's not about sending out thousands and thousands of marketing letters, or it's not about having thousands of marketing pieces out there. It's about having a very tight list. So it's also about how you automate your marketing through consistency, repetition, and frequency. How to answer the seller's calls, what to say, and setting up your answering systems. All the checklists for your marketing and your seller appointment. This is what literally got Sherry from $0 to $54,000. At $997, you could say she didn't 10 her initial investment. And then course number 2 is your Ninja Negotiations, how to lock in the most profitable deals. There's over a dozen different negotiating strategies in the matrix. It's starting with no, calming the schizophrenic, anchoring, and some of the stuff we will be talking about on Saturday. It's how to negotiate for price versus terms. Remember, I was taught by the number one, or one of my mentors was the number one FBI hostage negotiator in the country. I was in his mastermind with people who own professional sports teams, with people who are buying huge sky rises, all that stuff. So you think I might know a thing or two about negotiations. It's how to overcome those sellers' objections, not to take the no and leave, but to find out what they will agree to, not what they won't agree to. It's negotiating on everything with your seller. And for those of you who are like me and was very timid or just uncomfortable with negotiation, I've included now a 5-step seller negotiation prep sheet in there. So it's a quick review that you can take with you and get the seller's permission to ask them questions so you're prepared and don't feel all discombobulated when you're talking to a seller. I'm also including a secret strategies to negotiate amazing real estate deals web clinic. That's an hour-long special on negotiations. This is what was Ben's key to going from 0 deals to averaging 8 deals per month in just his first year. Now, the 3rd course is the little to no money. This is the creative. This is how you leverage other people's money to acquire more real estate. It's not about having or using, I should say, a ton of your own money. It's how you can never step into a bank again, and how to present offers that get accepted to your seller. Interest versus no interest. If you notice on the deal with Gloria, I never mentioned interest, and it usually doesn't come up. Here she is a landlord, and she didn't even ask me about interest. It's how you do the subject to deals. It's how you do wraps, which we don't have time to go over tonight, but wraparound mortgages, which are going to be really big for people with equity in their properties. Finding private money, how you can have your private money lender pay you $10,000 up front, stay in the deal, and collect a big check while he's giving you 100% of the financing. You're going to get, again, all of your fillable forms, the purchase and sales contracts, your tenants in common agreements, joint ventures agreements, all the checklists, everything is in this course. It also includes option agreements, which is a huge benefit to you and a very underutilized resource. Now, remember when I talked to you about Ben? Ben reached out to me not too long ago, a couple months ago, and he asked me if I had time to talk and in the next couple of days to explain sub 2 to him. He had been wholesaling so many properties and doing so much cash that the market has shifted now, and he is getting a lot of opportunities and missing out because he's only buying with cash, and he's seeing all these subject twos. So I thought, for all of you who invest in this course tonight, I will do a special for you to take you through step by step how to do these deals. You're going to learn it like ABCs and 1, 2, 3 so well that you'll be able to teach it to somebody else. Just like your negotiations will become part of your DNA, these subject to deals so well that you'll be able to teach it to someone else. Now, this is Prince. Prince came to me as a 20-year-old. He was graduating from college and wanted to be an entrepreneur. He wanted to invest in real estate, and he was broke. So I told him, Prince baby, you got to use other people's money. So this is one of the deals that he recently got. He got it under contract for $345,000. And he's going to be making this house into a group home for homeless bed. Cash flow after expenses is $4,000 per month, and he's splitting his ROI, that's 50%, 25% for him and his private money lender who put up all of the cash. Now, I asked him, did you get paid a fee up front? And this was huge for him. Remember I mentioned that $10,000 fee? He had the investor put up all the money and get a fee for it. He wasn't doing that before. Now he understands how much he's worth. So let's recap. You're getting the 3 courses. Excuse me. Each course includes easy to download videos and audio. You get over 100 different strategies for marketing. You get the 5-week action plan to get your first or your next deal up and going. It's all plug and play. You're going to have the winning negotiation matrix to do the techniques for the creative deals. We're going to simplify all of that for you. We're going to help you do your key negotiation phrases. In fact, they're given to you right in the course. You're going to use other people's money to close more deals, getting the seller to accept your terms, sub 2, or wraps, or options, whatever the creative technique you're going to be using. And you get the checklist to do that, the worksheets to do that, the form libraries. It's all there in one system. Now, I've got some bonuses for you because I think you need more. And I want to make sure that you're not missing out on any pieces of the puzzle. Now, this is Nick Devine. He's up in Hartford, Connecticut. He said he loved my bonus box, that the gift allowed him to do his first subject to deal, that this is amazing. And now I have 4 more properties in the pipeline. So the bonuses I want to give you, and you heard me talk about the 3 lifeline calls. So we're going to give you the 3 lifeline calls. The fix and flip wealth builder, let's face it, some of you guys like to do fix and flip still. The lifeline calls is a $1,500 value. The fix and flip wealth builder is a $997 value. It is a complete course. It's the first course I ever wrote, excuse me. And you're going to get the Elite Option Elite training, which is a $791 value. Most of my single family houses, I am doing rent to own with sellers on because I don't want tenants. I want homeowners. And that's all explained in the lease option elite training. That's Jack and Mel. And so the 3 Lifeline coaching calls with myself and Gary, the $1,500 value is direct coaching with us to customize your marketing, your negotiations, and to close more high profit deals. So you can attract the high paying deals with the motivated sellers to get more profit. Now your next bonus, the Fix and Flip Wealth Builder, that is a $997 value, is getting the property, knowing your numbers, rehabbing for maximum profits, selling for top dollar, working with contractors so you can run your business like a business, not an adult daycare. It has all your fillable forms in there, and then the lease option elite training, which is a $791 value, which is the magic of buying and selling on lease option where control is key. No repair calls, no management, none of the risk. It's kind of like trying it before you buy it. And how you can get paid 3 ways on sandwiches. We talk about, in fact, Gary put in there how to make $45,000 per month on just lease options. Again, you get all your fillable forms, you get all your rent to own templates, your checklists, your killer itemized move in, move out. It's how I run my rental business, even with student housing. It's all in there. So here's the thing. How would you like to have a step-by-step guide to put all the pieces together? The entire real estate wealth builder system is designed to give you all the steps, all of, because I don't want you having any of the problems. And the thing with most of you is busy feels good, but busy is not profitable. So I want to move you on the road to freedom, one deal at a time. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. I want you to have the building blocks to your investing success. So you're going to get all of this. It's usually $4,585, plus you're getting the bonuses for just $997. So you need to go now, and I think it's up in the chat box on the link. It's also right here to get all 3 courses, the entire, plus all the bonuses. That is a $997 value, or a $4,585 value for only $997. The other thing that Anish said he will do for you guys is anybody who invests in the course tonight, you will get the Saturday workshop for free. Those of you who are going to be there on Saturday, it's $19 for members, I believe $29 for non-members. We start Saturday, we go from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm also going to throw webinar for you guys, and it's more of in a meeting format for that, so you'll be able to ask me questions when we're going through how to do these subject twos. And I know that there's a ton of stuff here. Now, I think we have some questions, and the link is up there. What are our questions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anyone with questions, go ahead and put those in the Q&A. And I'm going to dive into some questions we have
Maria,
here. So we have a
Maria.
question here.
Maria, every time you mention the subject to webinar for next week, you buffered.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was buffering. And I'll make sure I have better stuff on internet on Saturday. The subject to webinars for anybody who invests in the course tonight, we're going to throw in the subject to webinar where I will be on with you as long as it takes. I will take you step by step through all of the components on doing a subject to. It usually takes anywhere from an hour to 90 minutes, but it will make everything crystal clear for you. And in the course, you have all the paperwork to put it all together. All right, Alex, you said that there was a question, I think.
And okay, so I see a question here. Is there a strategy to do a subject to deal if seller may have due on sale clause with their lender?
I love it when people ask me about due on sale clause. Almost every single mortgage in the United States, residential mortgage has has a due on sales clause in it. Here's the thing, I do them all the time, and I always hear about, well, I know somebody who knows somebody who had the note called due. Most banks, when you're doing a mortgage with them, is they're selling your mortgage and it's getting sold 2, 3, 4 times. So they don't even know who owns the mortgage anymore. Banks want payments, not properties. And they learned that really, really well during the last mortgage meltdown. The other thing is if a note ever gets called, all you have to do is cure the default. So what does that mean? You're putting the property back into the seller's name, and then we have a few other steps we do to cure that default, but you will still own the property. So no, it doesn't matter if there's a due on sales clause. Now, when we go to close, my title company is having the seller understand that that is the possibility. And in my negotiations, I always bring it up. Here's the thing, you are dealing with people who have real estate problems. They don't care about that due on sale clause. They want the headache out of it. They want to be able to sleep at night. So the due on sales clause, we inform them, they sign that they're aware of it, but it doesn't come up. Anything else?
All righty. So how long is this pricing active for our BPM people here on tonight?
That is a great question. Well, what is fair to you guys, Alexa? I will let you tell me.
All righty, we'll definitely send that in the follow-up email for you guys. I'm thinking until, maybe a week after the training on Saturday. I know there's people in here. I already have some comments here that, what if they're not available Saturday? I have some people that are still interested.
Yeah, well, typically I know, and we've got such a great relationship when we hit it off. I usually like to let it go, a few days to a week after the Saturday. Usually I don't let it go any longer than that. Because I want people to take action, and I want to deal with action takers, people that want this and want to implement it and get started right away. Now, I also know that you guys give a 30-day money back guarantee. So if was after 30 days, they have a 30-day return window, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Yep. So right there, that saves you guys.
Awesome. All right. Any other questions, everybody? She pretty much told you what to expect for Saturday. We have a ton of more information about the Saturday training on the website. I have a lot of people asking, subject to, I saw another one trickle in here. Does it include how to find subject to clients or where to buy the list? So we don't have to comb through public records.
Yes, and I'll tell you exactly how I like to go after subject twos right now. We'll be going through that on Saturday. I'm going to be taking you through my deals on Saturday because I want you to have the tools to utilize. And like I said, I'm offering you the 3 lifeline calls with this course. And that $1,500 bonus is that if you get a subject to deal or you think you have one and you're really like, hey, I want to role play with you. I want to figure out the numbers. I want to know how I can ask that seller or how I can negotiate this with that seller. You call me up on a lifeline call and we go through your deal. Because I want you to be successful. Again, I saw how much this meant to my son and my past students. And that's why I've redeveloped everything and relaunched everything, because I want you to be successful. And I know how much it meant to me to be able to, my why was to be there for my kids. And I know how much that meant to me. to have that system. And that's why it's a pretty robust system here. A lot of people are like, well, why so cheap? Well, why does it have to be so expensive? We put this all together so that you have every piece of the real estate investing puzzle. What I hated when I first got started is I'd listen to a speaker and they'd only give me this one small piece, but I needed something else. So I had to go buy another course. I had to go seek something else out. I want it to be a complete package for you guys. So you guys aren't wondering, well, I got this subject to deal and now I want to do a rent to own or a tenant buyer. You don't need to go out and get another course. You have it right there. Same with your marketing. Why pay for just a marketing course when you can have the marketing, the negotiation matrix, and how to create the deals all in one? So you have all the systems in place. I'm a big systems person.
Absolutely, absolutely. So true. And as Gary mentioned in the chat, everyone, thank you guys for staying on a little bit later here. That Maria is going to do a special subject to webinar for those who buy next week. The webinar will have you able to teach subject.
Uh-oh, I think we just lost Alexa. Oh.
There you go.
Oh, Alicia's still
Another
here.
one. Like magic. So, yeah,
When you guys were asking about the, how do I find a sub 2 deal? How do I find, the reason we teach you all these techniques and how to negotiate all these techniques is we want you to know how to do a subject to, how to do a wrap, how to do a flip, so that when you come across any property, you have an exit strategy because of what you learned and how to negotiate it. That's our main goal, for you to be able to make any deal out of anything you come across.
Marie, I'm going to ask you my own personal question on this is, out of all how many real estate investors do you know use multiple techniques for creative deal financing?
That aren't my students?
You had because I see the same. I see the same thing. It's always a cash offer or nothing, or like, how much would you say if I'm gonna? I know there's no exact numbers, but like, what percentage of the deals are left on the table because they only know, a strategy or maybe even two strategies or whatever on that? Would you say, just because I know you educate and do a ton of creative deal financing?
Yeah, well, this was the thing that actually is what changed me over to doing creative deals, is after doing all these fix and flips and stuff like that. And like I said, I was like the fix and flip queen going on. I went back and I hired a new assistant and I said, hey, we've got all these leads that we weren't able to make happen. Go back and see if these properties are still available. And when they did that, I found out that we were missing out on probably 90% of the properties that we could make a deal happen, because we were that one trick pony, that all over cash offer. And I would say less than 2% of the real estate investors out there probably know how to do creative deals, to do deal structuring. The subject to the wraps.
I was going to say you're pretty generous actually on the 2%, but and that's what, and I'm just saying that because we see this.
You could be right. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I said they probably know how, but do they do it? And that's why I've taken it even farther. Somebody put all threes in, and we combine them to do the deal stacking. And that's the other difference, is I don't know anyone, maybe one other person, that does deal stacking, and that was somebody I know personally.
Yeah, and it's true. And and I'll kind of leave this. I know first of all, thanks for you guys still hopping on and staying on for a little bit. And because you do these subject to deals, right? And before COVID, and you guys have been keeping them, what would you say, on some of these subject to deals? Like, I know maybe whether you're doing no money down or you're really taking over, whatever that is, how much equity probably have you made or on that end of it because of what's been happening to the market? Just that, like, what would you say? And by the way, I apologize asking. I apologize asking these guys such personal questions, but it's always like the cool thing is I always know you guys are very transparent, just like I am. So I'm the guy that always asks those little bit tough questions too. So
Yeah, some
No,
of them,
I
some of them were even
appreciate it.
underwater.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and that's a good point too that Gary made. See, I don't mind buying an underwater property, like Joe's property was underwater. Now his property, because the market went crazy, I bought it when it was $20,000 undervalued, but here's the thing. It cash flowed, and
Yeah.
cash is king. Never buy a property that isn't going to cash flow and bank on appreciation. Now, the properties I bought prior to COVID and even in the last year or so, some of them have doubled in value. But the cash flow has also gone up astronomically in these properties. I'd see some of them anywhere from 25 to as high as 40%. They've increased in cash flow. And I didn't have to go to a bank. I didn't, I kept there. No, I mean, heck, the property that Gary and I live in, I bought it subject to, and I shorted a second. I didn't have to short the second, but I could. It's just another strategy, because if I can short something and take advantage of the bank, I'm going to do it. And that's what I teach my students to do. And again, the properties that we're seeing that have so much equity in them, a lot of times these sellers are so desperate right now, and we're starting to see more foreclosures as well, that they just want to get their initial down payment out. They don't want all that equity. So maybe they put $20,000 down. You can bring in a financial friend to put that money down and stay in the deal. You can also buy these properties with all these equity and do another strategy that we teach, which is called a wraparound mortgage, or a wrap, also known as an all-inclusive deed of trust kind of stuff. So there's many different strategies. We have a strategy for every type of property out there, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to hit on it because, we're talking about the wins now, meaning, hey, whether it's, upside down on that. And I know it was a loaded question. I kind of knew what your answer was going to be, but I wanted to, you didn't know that was going to happen.
No.
Like you said, that you were talking about cash flow, and all of a sudden, you got like a double bonus, right? Increased rents, increase in value. And like you said, 90% of the investors would walk away from those kind of deals. And I would say, the creative financing or creative deal financing competition is a lot less out there than your traditional just cash offers and all that other good stuff too. So
yeah, not only that, but the subject twos, the wraps, and all that other stuff. It sounds confusing, but we have checklisted it down so that it's easy, and these are just techniques, and they're easily transferable to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll just kind of, one of the things, same thing, but I really believe, I push the same thing. It's all about cash flow. If you're hoping for speculation, I did that in 2008 and didn't do too well on it. So, for some of the old timers down here.
Well, anybody who was in the market back to then, they'll all tell you, oh my gosh, I lost so much because I was speculated. And the other thing is I know there's some wholesalers out here and they're thinking, well, I can't wholesale these type of deals. Do you realize that many times you can wholesale a creative deal to a landlord that doesn't have to come in with $200,000, $300,000 and get a larger wholesale deal from a landlord on a property that might even be a little underwater, but is cash flowing great? Or you're trying to build your short-term rental business and you wholesale it to one of those guys for more money. That property from that landlord, people didn't know I was holding properties back then. They thought I was just fixing and flipping. I got offered up to $20,000 for my contract, my sub-2 contract offer. And I was like, I'm not taking that. It's $20,000 for a cash flowing underwater property. Where else can you do that?
It's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I know there's some still people on there. So I'm even going to do an extra bonus for you guys as I actually stay the extra minutes. So if you sign up for Saturday and you stay from 9 to 1 and you email me Monday and say Maria was terrible and Gary was terrible, you wasted my life on that end of it, I will refund you the $19 or the $29. So I'm a big believer in this. So you guys know I always put my money where my mouth is. So if I, the $19 or $29 is not going to change my life, I promise you, on that portion. But we need you to be in the game on that. And the first step, and we've all been there, is been on the sideline. So, at BPM RIA, I'm constantly preaching that, you got to jump in, try it out. And now I'm offering you even a money back guarantee on your Saturday workshop. So now you just got to put the time in too. So I'll just add that in there. So, look, I mean, Maria's even negotiating with me without negotiating. Man, you're good.
Negotiations can be so much fun. And here's the thing. I shouldn't be saying this because my husband is on, and if you have kids or spouses listening, practice on your spouse. Practice on your kids. It hones your. You would be surprised how easy by telling, my husband, hey, would you have anything against mowing the lawn? I can do it. With my 16-year-old son, I say, hey, son, I realize that you're super, super busy. You're going to hate me. But do you have anything against taking out the garbage? And he goes and he takes out the garbage. How do you get a 16-year-old to take out the garbage?
Yes.
I hope he's not listening in the background.
Watch
Yeah.
my wife. Watch my wife. Qualify herself by disqualifying herself when she talks to these people.
And by the way, I love Rob Dawson. I read a bunch of his books, so I know exactly. Whether it's my favorite still is nibbling. There's a lot of little
Yes,
stuff, and same thing. Yeah, and I've made a lot of money on negotiation, so that's why I'm a big believer in everything that you working with, the guy is pretty impressive too. So
yeah, it is by far the highest dollar per hour activity you can master.
Absolutely. So I know it's already, and I kept you guys. I know everyone's gotta be stuck in traffic and they're complaining about it. No, of course not. But I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Maria, Gary. And so this was just a little taste, so Saturday, check it out for the day. And again, if you guys stayed late on this and you feel like Saturday wasn't worth your time, you could just email me and I promise I'll give you your money back too. But I know it's going to be some good stuff. And again, we are very lucky, even though it's virtual, to have these guys speak at our RIA. And I'm looking forward to Saturday also. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being there, or I guess virtually being there, and having you guys more in a meeting format so we can talk, and having you at the workshop to help you go and grow.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you Saturday.
That's good. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye.